All right, welcome everybody. We're here with Clarke McNeace. He's our Executive Vice President of Compliance and Standards at Aviation Performance Solutions, and we're going to do instructor epiphanies today. He's going to talk about his experiences as an instructor and also what he experiences with customers. But remember, as a pilot, are you prepared to deal with an unexpected airplane upset event on its way to a fatal loss of control in flight accident? That's always the underlying question in this series. Let's jump right in. All right, Otter, well, welcome. So we really didn't plan too much about this other than the fact that you were going to talk about, your experiences as an instructor here at APS or whatever is relevant, and then maybe transition into what you found flying with a customer. So let's just kind of play it by ear. Is there anything you wanted to start with everybody at home?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a fascinating journey for me. Been a lot of learning over the years there, but if you don't mind, I'm going to take a step back prior to starting as a UPRT instructor, because I have to understand that I started in general aviation and then went into the Navy as a fighter pilot. And so I only worked, shall we say, with fighter pilots all through those years, 12 years in the Navy. And then from there went to the airlines, and I was flying Boeings at the airlines. And I remember one simulator, it was my off-probation check ride, and we had just finished the check ride in the simulator, and I had been flying with a senior captain, and the sim instructor said to us, "Hey, you guys want to do anything? We got a few minutes left in the sim. Do you want to do anything?" And I said, "Well, hey, yeah." I'd never done an aileron roll in a 737 before, so I just picked the nose up and unloaded and rolled the airplane all the way around, and it was great, And then the captain goes, "Well, I'll do one of those." So he just starts rolling, and of course, when that happens, the nose starts to drop, and next thing you know, he literally crashed the simulator. Yeah, as the airplane started rolling, the nose was dropping, he ended up pulling, and next thing you know, we literally crashed the airplane there. And I remember being very surprised at how he reacted in that, and he kind of said, "Well, it must be something wrong with the simulator," and I didn't say anything as a junior first officer at the time, but that was really my first time to get insight into that not all pilots are created equal, and capabilities of pilots will differentiate. Now, that played out over the 10 years that I was at airlines. I definitely saw, the competencies of various pilots that I flew with, and they're certainly widespread. But then once I started doing upset training for you, and I remember one of the first professional pilots that I flew with in the airplane, and we were going out and we were working on cross control stalls, and one of the stalls was a skidded stall, and the airplane snapped and rolled right upside down, and it really caught him by surprise. And he just kind of in a startled way just grabbed the stick and pulled, and we ended up doing this major split ass. He pulled so hard as he saw the dirt, as he saw the earth get bigger, he just pulled harder and harder, and next thing you know, we're in this accelerated stall, and it's about 3 Gs going downhill, and he's finally coming out the backside, and we're still in it, and I'm really just letting him go through with this, going, wow, I just can't believe he's still reacting this way. And
that was like on the second flight, or when was it?
Yeah, it was on the second flight, and it was just really revealing to me that there clearly are parts of the flight envelope for pilots that, if they have little to no experience there, they aren't able to get hold of themselves. They aren't able to either recall what they think they should do. They're overwhelmed from a psychophysiological standpoint, and you just don't know what they'll do sometimes.
Right.
And just flailing on the controls is really what can happen. And so that was just very insightful, again, to see that yeah, you know, we need to take pilots to these different parts of the flight envelope. We produce some of the best pilots in the world in the Western Hemisphere for normal flight.
Right.
For normal flight, but once pilots start getting too far out of normal flight, we just don't know what they're going to do. And so being able to, in a building block approach, build these pilots up. You don't want to scare them in the beginning, and we know that's not good training. We can't afford to create any kind of fear in the beginning. We need to win them over and build up their competence and confidence at the same time. And that's what a good UPRT program is going to do. And when they come out the other side, after just literally 2.5 days, 3 days at most, they are rock solid. I mean, you can literally throw anything at them and they will do the right thing. They will do the right thing, even though you've maybe even surprised them in the airplane.
So, you know, that brings up a good point for everybody, is I'll do another video on this down the road a little bit, but we have seen that we tried for years to make a 1-day, 2-day program, you know, 1 flight, 2, 3 flights, just can't do it.
No.
The overlearning process of the human brain, it just takes 3 days, 2 sleeps, 4 flights is what they need to have
Yes.
for this to work, and then adding on simulation to really cover, you know, all the bases that the airplane can't cover. But my point is we've seen that 2 flights is the absolute worst number of flights to do.
Yeah, because they regress.
Because they're regressing at that point.
Yes.
For a program that says you can learn in 2 flights, if you are, it's an illusion.
That's right.
We've just seen that, right?
That's
and so
exactly right.
It takes some overlearning, habituation. There's a whole process that the human brain goes through to learn this counterintuitive ability to take action in places.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
So what else do you want to share? So that was kind of on the skidded turn stall. Was there something else you wanted to share about some?
Well, there's so many different types of upset scenarios and flight conditions that we can put pilots in, that they can then learn how to apply the strategy. And once they've been through that 3 days of comprehensive upsets and repetition to proficiency under that guided tutelage of an expert instructor, an elite instructor that knows how to give proper feedback on what was done well or not so well. It's just so fun to see their confident competence that they have at the end of the program. It's very rewarding. You know they are a safer pilot when they leave here because it's taught in a transferable way. They're not just learning to recover these airplanes, they're learning a discipline and a methodology and a way of thinking that is transferable to their airplane, and they know it. They understand it, and they can leave here knowing how to apply it to their airplane.
So we've always had a saying, we said it a different way before, but we've softened it a little bit. So now when pilots start the program, they're unknowingly ill-equipped.
Yeah.
It used to be unconsciously incompetent, right?
Right,
But it's
sir.
better to say unknowingly ill-equipped, because at the end of the program, to your point, on that 3rd day of that last flight, the instructors can really just throw anything at them.
Yeah.
And if it's a recoverable airplane upset, they can solve it. And so they become consciously competent. So they're aware, they're competent. They have the ability to contain, startle, surprise, take effective action. And as we have seen from our graduates, they're more competent just not at an airplane upset event, but they're more competent on every flight because of their increased awareness and knowledge and overall capabilities as a pilot.
Totally agree. The airmanship, the competence, the academic from an aerodynamic standpoint alone helps them transfer that understanding to make them a better pilot in all phases of their flights profiles. So yeah.
So let's see, we talked about your beginning as an instructor. I had a similar one as well. What you saw in your first couple customers, and then the transformation really from the beginning of the program to the end. So maybe talk a little bit about when people come back after a few years for recurrent, and then maybe what you see there to wrap things up for today.
Well, that's also very encouraging because, as you're aware, that was one of our goals, was try to impart these skills in initial training. When they come to us initially, is try to impart the skills and ingrain the skills in such a way that it's long lasting. And that's what we were able to get to with the program. And they leave here and they, no kidding, retain these skills, and they can come back a year, 2 years, 2.5, even up to 3 years, and they've retained most of that skill there. So we can literally take them out on the first flight and throw anything at them. Now, we don't do that as a regular course for recurrent training, but the nice thing is a recurrent program can literally only be 1 day and 2 flights. That's all that we saw was truly necessary to bring that competency back up to and exceed their initial competency that they had from initial training, as long as they come back in that 3-year window there. And so it's just very rewarding. A lot of the guys come in, they'll show up and they don't remember a lot about the aerodynamics, but they know push, roll, power, stabilize, and it's still in there, and I literally could take them out and throw anything at them, and they'll do the right thing there. So the recurrent program, we feel, is not only essential because they are perishable skills, but a recurrent program done the right way can be very efficient for them.
So I think the nice thing about that, even though it's 3 days of intense training and there's a lot of the overlearning going on, I think the key to that is the recurrent program, when they come back, is just the 1 day. So it's really an efficiency over time. And that's how you maintain it. That's how you maintain the risk mitigation in the long term. Because when they come back, you're right, they have the skills, but we have to kind of reconnect the theory to practical implementation to have the belief in it, in a real situation. Because the better they understand it and why, the more likely they're going to do it with the skill sets that they have. Okay, so to wrap anything up, anything else you want to share?
Oh, I hope y'all will come and see us. I can honestly say, people say it's life transforming. So many professional pilots that come here, they've been flying for 25 years safely, and yet they say, I wish I had had this 25 years ago.
Yeah, so absolutely. Okay, well, thank you, Otter. Yeah, I'm sure everybody will enjoy that. We'll see you in the next video.